Hi, everyone. As you all know, I have started this podcast to interview people on their entrepreneurial journey and obviously share my own entrepreneurial journey. And today I have a wonderful guy. His name is Owen. He's all the way from Christchurch in New Zealand. And he has this driving passion and desire to help and motivate men 45 years and plus to lose weight and feel great.
Are you thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not exactly sure if that is for you? Or you have tried a few times, but you have failed? Or maybe you are currently on your journey, but you're not exactly sure you're taking the right path and if you're doing the right things? Follow along on this podcast where I will be sharing my entrepreneurial journey with you all. I will be sharing my successes, my failures, and also my challenges. The best part is I will also be interviewing fellow entrepreneurs that will be sharing their stories and their successes. This is my podcast, Entrepreneurial Journey, and I am Joy Nicholson.
Hello, Owen. How are you doing?
Hi, Joy. I'm good, thank you.
That's awesome. So tell people a little bit about you, not the entrepreneurial side, but just about you. How did you start your journey? What are you doing at the moment? Just so people can, get to know you as a person a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So, as Joy said, my name is Owen. For the last 20 years, or close to 20 years, I've supported people with intellectual disabilities. So out of that has come my pursuit of helping people create a happy and healthy lifestyle or life, as well as be successful in whatever they choose to do. So a couple of years ago, back in 2017, I lost my father to prostate cancer, and at the time I had an inheritance. He left some money. And coincidentally, at the same time, my job was essentially made redundant. So it was a bit of a turning point for me. My wife, my wonderful wife, Bronwyn, she said to me, well, you've always talked about starting up your own business, and so here is your opportunity. With the inheritance, that took a lot of the pressure off in terms of our finances. And it allowed me to sort of say, well, okay, so it's make or break. So at the beginning of 2018, or beginning of March 2018, I decided to pursue the entrepreneurial journey. And like many entrepreneurs, I've had my fair share of failures and different projects that I've tried to start up and get off the ground. My latest pursuit, lose weight, feel great for men over 45, is a culmination of all of the work, I guess, that I have been doing for at least 20 years, if not close to 30, since I took up, as part of my Epiphany Bridge script that we got to do as part of Russell Brunson's One Funnel Away challenge. Originally I wanted to look like my hero, who was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was 30 years ago. So yeah, but it led me on the most amazing journey. I've always had a passion for food, and I developed a real passion for fitness. So my latest venture and the ebook that I created recently from it is about helping men over the age of 45 be happy, healthy, and successful. And that's what my journey is about at the moment. I've developed a course, an 8-week course that I am about to launch very shortly, and look for people who would like to join me. Everything that everything I preach, everything I teach, I have tried myself. For those who are aware, I'm a bit of a Timothy Ferriss buff. I love Timothy Ferriss. I love his books. I love his approach. That different people, I guess, are different. Yeah. And with that, every individual needs to experiment and try different things, so to work out what works for them best. I have a framework that I believe is of a lot of value and will add a lot of value to people's lives. And within that comes the opportunity to individualize it so that they can get the most out of it. So yeah.
That sounds awesome. I love it. So you say that you, your wife said that you always wanted to start a business and opportunity. So when was your first thought? Was it as a kid? Was your parents making business? Where was that first thought that you thought, okay, I actually need to do this before, obviously, the sadness of your dad happened?
Actually, my entrepreneurial spark happened, I would say, back more so around 2003. So we're talking 16 years ago now. When I first started working with the intellectually disabled, and to this day, a lot of non-profits heavily rely on donations and fundraising to help exist or help themselves exist. Especially a lot of the smaller non-profits, things like sausage sizzles or raffles and different fundraisers. And for those parents out there, you'll be very aware of this. If you have children and they go to school, it's selling chocolate bars and things like that. It becomes a big part of your life all of a sudden as your children grow up and part of the education system. So back in 2003, I just felt that there was something wrong with the system. It's like, well, I think we're doing this all back to front. And so I used to sort of have these little thoughts about, how could we improve this situation? And at the time, and since then, having worked with the intellectually disabled, for me, it was like, and I guess, like Russell Brunson teaches in his course, but even before that, when I've come along across little tidbits over my life, and the latest one for the last couple of years has been Gary Vaynerchuk, which he will either alienate you or you become a rabid fan. He can be quite polarizing, but one of Gary's approaches is that you've got to hustle, and he talks about his experience where he franchised his lemonade stand back when he was at primary school. And that's part of, I guess it's confirmation that I always believed that if you took the person with the disability and made them the employer, made them the boss, made them the center of a business, and there's a wonderful example online, I think it's called John's Socks, and it's a young man, or he's not so young now, I think he's in his 20s, he has Down syndrome, and he sells funky socks. He's in America. He sells these really funky socks, and he has made a complete business out of just selling socks.
That's awesome.
And that, to me, back in 2003, I believe that was quite a reality. And it got, that sort of was the start of my entrepreneurial sort of like, hey, there is a better way of solving a problem. Yes. Instead of going out and sort of saying, oh, we need money and, can you give us money? It's like, well, no, let's just turn that on our head and turn that concept on its head and sort of say, well, look, how can I add value? How can I access something that I could sell and provide a product or a service or value to the community, solve a problem for other people, and at the same time create a business around that. So that was my sort of initial spark, which, as an aside, is also, I guess that's what I also want to do with my entrepreneurial journey, is that one aspect of the company that I created, Active Learning, was I would like to give back by helping non-profits find smarter ways to fundraise. And
good idea.
That's I guess what Bronwyn, my wife, sort of had in mind when she encouraged me. I've had all these ideas over the years. Now's your chance to find something that'll work. And that has driven me, Joy, for the last year and a half.
Wow.
I need to find a system. I need to find a way of developing a product or a service that will, I guess, make money. Obviously, that's a good thing, because you can't take an example to people and sort of say, oh, by the way, you know, I've got this really great idea, but it doesn't work, but hey, it's a great idea. So I have the great idea, and at the moment I'm on to at least my fourth business to make it work, so then I can then take it to non-profits and say, here's a model that will work for you. Would you like to work together? And that's my way of, that's my way of giving back. Yeah.
And it will. I've got confidence in you. I'm very confident and very, very sure it will definitely, you know, you're doing all the right things. Me and Owen chat a lot, and I know that he's doing all the right things. So it's just a process. Now, you said this is your fourth try. So what is the very first business that you tried?
So last year I looked at, initially I was collaborating with another chap and looking at developing a series around speaking events where marketing and sales would be the primary focus, as well as how to present yourself or doing your elevator pitch. And so we, another chap and myself, we collaborated and looked and found some speakers so we could develop a series around that, which we weren't able to get it off the ground in the end. Just lack of interest, really. It taught me a lot of things, though, in terms of when you go out to the marketplace, timing is everything. And our timing probably wasn't the most perfect, because the business calendar, it has its own sort of operation set up along the way, in that at certain times of the year, it doesn't pay to try and ask people to come along to workshops, because they either don't have any money or it's the wrong time of the year, or it's too close to this event, or it's too far away. And so you really, it was just wrong timing for us, which, looking back, there was nothing wrong with the product. There was nothing wrong with the price point. It was timing. And so that, I learned some lessons from that, which was valuable for me. My next venture was actually drop shipping and print on demand through AliExpress. And as you know, Joy, it's
hard.
It's not as easy as what a lot of people on YouTube videos will tell you that it is. There is a lot of homework. You've got to put a lot of effort in, and it can be very frustrating, because it's not as quick as what is often advertised. I'm sure that you can make a success of drop shipping.
Oh, yes.
But it's not going to be an overnight success, as some people try to advertise. That was my second, and within that, I was not just looking at drop shipping, I was looking at print on demand and the whole Facebook and Facebook presence. And I like to think of that as a second sort of entrepreneurial aspect. So it wasn't just the drop shipping, it was also about exploring Facebook and getting myself out there and connecting on the different social media platforms. It was really two really separate journeys for me. And I think that's something that other people who are wanting to get into the entrepreneurial space really need to think about. The landscape is huge. It is so massive. And what you'll learn, or what I learned out of all of that, is not to try and spread yourself too thin. Focus, you've got to really think about how much time you've got and how much energy you have and what your circumstances are when you put yourself into this. So if you happen to be, for example, if you were working 40 hours a week and you've got 3 children, you've got a wife or not, and you know, you're tired, it's like, so when are you actually going to do this? You know, are you going to be up till 3 in the morning, you know, and then trying to survive on 4 hours sleep, or are you going to do it in the weekends only? Yeah, it's easy to do it if you have no commitments and no family and all of these other things that go along with perhaps a single life, and you're just working and you've got some mates, because you can sort of like put your social life to one side for a little while you focus on something. But if you've got a family and you play a sport or you do a whole lot of other things, sometimes the only difference is it's going to take you a lot longer.
Yeah.
And you've got to be willing to take that. So instead of 6 weeks, it might take you 6 years, and you've got to be happy with that. You've got to embrace that part of the journey and not give up. At the end of the day, you never give up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Brian Tracy always. I remember reading a Brian Tracy book. It's sometimes the goalposts get moved,
Mm-hmm.
not because the desire dies, but because you realize it's just going to take you a lot longer.
Yeah.
So my fourth venture is indeed lose weight, feel great for men over 45, and so this is my 4th business that I am getting up and running, and it's exciting. I'm really excited. It taps into a lot of my knowledge and my zest for helping other people be happy, healthy, and successful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am very confident that this will work, because I know for a fact that you're doing all the right things to make this work. And like you say, just don't give up. Just move your pole, but don't you know. And that's actually, I really love that. That's a good way to explain that. Now, at the moment, I know that you're using ClickFunnels, so we can put it out there.
Yeah.
But what was your biggest, I would say, lesson learned in the last, I would say, 3-4 months with, you know, using the platforms that you're using now that was different to your previous business attempts? Like, do you actually feel like this is your success?
As you know, and I'm happy to tell the viewers out there watching this, Joy was an absolute godsend for me. When you get into things like I did, and I was pursuing, you know, I doing the drop shipping and print on demand, and I was trying to get a presence on Facebook and go into the different groups. Even at the time, I sort of thought to myself, you know, there's something missing here. What am I doing wrong? Because sometimes you think to yourself, just how dumb am I? You know, sort of like you think, you get really frustrated and you think, there's something. I knew deep down that there was something. And then I'm a really big believer in the universe, of like putting things out into the universe and the universe sort of communicating back with you, and as well as fate. And I don't know, I'm just trying to think back how we connected, but somehow the universe sent me you. Mm-hmm. and I saw this thing about the online mastery course that you were doing that popped up onto my Facebook feed. So I clicked on the link and we connected, but it was like ClickFunnels. That's what's missing. It's like, and then when I did the course with Russell and Stephen and Julie, it's like, oh wow, this is the missing link. I looked at it and thought, offer hacking, building a funnel. You know, I had been down so many funnels myself, and I had not realized it. I had not realized, this is a funnel.
Me too.
And I had never really understood sales and marketing to the extent that I did once I did the One Funnel Away challenge. And it was just mind blowing. The whole, like, developing the belief. I had the belief. The first week was a done deal for me. I had so much belief. I had no issues with believing that these things were possible. So when you get into offer hacking and identifying, where to go in the market
Yes.
and how to go to the market
Mm-hmm.
and what to give the market, it was like, it just, all these boxes started getting ticked. And by the third week, I'm thinking, wow, okay. So, and then you just keep going through the process because it's a very intense, and I can see why people drop out. It is very intense 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
But Russell, ClickFunnels, they provide you with everything. And so I think that was the other thing that really, really helped me personally in the last 3 months, has been the support from ClickFunnels, the support from yourself, the increased knowledge around
That's key.
how do I do this better?
Mm-hmm.
How do I, because one of the things, and entrepreneurs are really bad for this. I'll say that because I believe we are all really terrible at that. And I would put my hand up and say I'm terrible at it. It's like, let's race to the bottom. And that's a quote, that's a quote from Russell's course, is that you should never race to the bottom. And by that, I mean, race to the bottom in terms of price. I will try to sell this product for as cheap as possible so I can beat all my competitors. And you take that, let's call it the McDonald's, the McDonald's approach. And that's true. It's sort of like, let's sell this product for the cheapest we can so we can outdo all the competition. And it's like, no. Russell's example in week 2, I think it was so beautiful. It's like, I have this phone and it currently sells for this much money. But I tell you what, for today only, for the next 24 hours, I'll sell you this phone for 20 times what you could pay for it in the shop. But wait, there is more. And I guess we've all gotten used to that, but wait, there's more. But
Yeah.
when you wait and you find out what the more is, that's what he's teaching us. And that's one of the biggest lessons from the last 3 months for me, Joy, has been adding so much value that people will look at your offer and go, well, where do I sign and how much, the price just gets totally removed, and it's all about the value and it's all about what you can give people. And what really connected for me was that's how I have always wanted to do business, by adding lots and lots and lots of value to other people because I have that to offer. So yeah, for me, it was one of those like aha moments from the last 3 months. It's like, wow, this guy's worked it all out. And it's like, wow, okay. So, and he gives you this amazing blueprint, and it's like a no-fail blueprint. What I'd have to say, the other big thing I learned from the last 3 months is, like, if you keep searching, you will find the people who can really help you. Because after going to YouTube and watching all these other people say, hey, like with the drop shipping, it's like, hey, you just do this and this, but they're not, I find a lot of them, I would say it's dishonest. I think what a lot of them are doing is quite dishonest. Whereas Russell is just completely honest with you. It's like, well, here's what I'm offering, and here's the cost, but this is what you're going to get for what you give me. And it's like, what he gives you so outweighs the cost. It's like, oh, this is a no-brainer. And so that's been my huge lesson from the last 3 months, is it's a lesson and a learning, but it's a wonderful feeling to finally connect with a guy and his team and his product that I know will help me achieve great things. So yeah, it's been my big lesson from the last 3 months.
It's amazing that you say that, because that was also my missing link. Is when I did the OFA, that was it. And then since then, pieces got put together, and it just made sense. And
Yeah.
that's when I started earning money. After also, I had like 7 failed attempts. I think I stopped counting actually, because it was
Yeah.
so, okay, so apart from money, because obviously everybody wants to earn money. So apart from money that's driving you, and obviously you want to be a successful entrepreneur, what is that really that big thing that is driving you to be successful in your current venture?
For me, it's all about other people's, and I just keep coming back to it. It's their happiness, their health, and their success.
That's awesome.
Definitely, you've got to sort out your health.
Yes.
For me, I've lost 11 kilos in 11 weeks, and I've reduced my overall cholesterol by 1 point.
That's amazing.
And I truly believe that once you get your health sorted, and I know you can speak to that as well. I mean, I didn't have to go to the same lengths as you did, Joy, by moving from one part of New Zealand to another. But I have known other people.
Yeah.
A couple in Wellington I knew years ago. They moved out of Wellington because Wellington was. I mean, the doctor told them, look, your children will continue to have the level of asthma that they do until you leave Wellington. And they left Wellington, and their children's health dramatic. I mean, it just went away. The asthma went away. I think for me, and I know I can help people sort out their health. That's not a problem. I've done that for 20 years or more. So helping sort out the health, and then sorting out the happiness, and then helping other people be a success. And that for me is what drives me.
Yes.
I'm not so worried about the money, because I already have in mind a setup or a system that I'm going to put into place next year, once again, thanks to ClickFunnels, that will bring in an income. So for me, my passion is to help people be happy, healthy, and successful. And so that it's not really about the money. It's actually about helping people have a better quality of life. I mean, I'm a bit like, I guess I'm a bit like other people in my space. Scientists believe we can live to 120 years of age.
That's crazy. I don't even know anybody that.
The problem is we are continually poisoning ourselves. That's why we don't live to 120. So scientists and a lot of experts are trying to work out, so how can you live to 120? And what would that look like for human beings? It's amazing. I mean, it is amazing. The historical record actually shows that we used to be taller, more well-built, more muscular, as a race of people. We're talking thousands of years ago, but we have slowly but surely, I guess, poisoned ourselves, and we continue to do so. And to me, I love being a part of that, finding out, well, how can you be healthier? How can you have a better quality of life so that you can have better relationship with your wife, better relationship with your family, better relationship with your friends, and just feel alive every day when you wake up and when you go through your day. And then what leads from there is how do I be happy? How do I be the happiest that I could ever be, and be the most successful that I could ever be? And that's been a passion of mine for over 20 years. That wanting to help other people, but my real love of just the pursuit of excellence as a human, as a person, is just like, how can I have the most amazing life possible? And that I guess I'm a very curious individual. And love pursuing that and helping other people achieve that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I completely agree with you, because if you're not healthy, you don't feel good. If you don't feel
No,
good, you're not going to do good. And if you don't do
no.
good, you're going to basically just fail in
Mm,
everything that you touch, and not on purpose, but it's a vicious circle. So,
mm,
you
yeah,
know, and that's why I love your program so much, and you know what you aim to achieve, because I know it's going to help so many people, because
mm,
it's a great circle. You're going to help people
yeah,
to get healthy, first of all, because if you don't have
yeah.
health, you've got literally nothing. Then you're going to help them to get the wealth behind it and the success, and then obviously, you know, the whole, it's just a great circle. So I'm so
Mm,
excited, and I'm really, really, really excited for you.
yeah,
So
thank you.
what is the, okay, so we know that you're working on your course, and you know, can you, without giving away too much, can you tell
Yeah.
people about what they can expect once your course is finished in the next few months? Can you tell people what they can expect from this course, and what
Okay.
they, you know, what you offer them as well?
So, absolutely. The basis of my course, and I've looked at it from a number of perspectives, and one of the other things I learned from Russell's course that I did was
Mhm.
having a lead-in week. And there is actually quite a lot of information that you need to sort of digest and understand before you start the course.
Mhm.
So my course is an 8-week course. So the first week is all about, filling in a health questionnaire, looking at the food that you currently consume,
Mhm.
and just having a real reality check around, okay, well, sort of this is how, I mean, I don't actually care what you eat. Like if you want to go to McDonald's every day, that's entirely up to you. I wouldn't suggest, look on your faces, priceless.
No,
I wouldn't
I call it
suggest,
Manky Donald's.
I wouldn't suggest it. But the thing is, I'm not going to judge you or judge anybody for what they do eat, don't eat,
Mm.
because for me, and I'll give you an example. For me, it's really important. Like if in the first week, I want people to write down what foods you do like and what you don't like,
Mhm.
because to me, there's no point getting into the second week and me saying, well, I'm gonna you for dinner tonight. You're going to be having some, some pan fried mushrooms alongside some grilled asparagus and a nice bit of steak. And somebody turns around and says, well, I'm a vegetarian, I hate mushrooms, can't stand them, would never eat them. And I'm going, but it's like, no, there, like I don't like mushrooms either, and I can't stand broad beans. So I know that the food I eat is very particular to me.
Yes.
So as I said before, I have a framework, but what I need to do is engage with people. So that the first week is all about engaging with me,
Mhm.
and me engaging with them and getting to know, okay, so these are your likes, your dislikes. These are some medical conditions you might have. This is the level of exercise you commit to or don't commit to, as the case may be. This is what you do for a living. This is how many children you've got. This is your home environment. This is your work environment. Because a person who works for, say, inland revenue and works 40 hours a week in an office at a desk, sitting down, compared to somebody who works for city care, is outside all day planting plants and looking after the green spaces around the city here in Christchurch or anywhere in the world, because this is a global product I'm developing,
Yeah.
they are two completely different people.
Mhm.
Two completely different people. So the first week's all about getting ready.
Mhm.
And then the next 6 weeks is all about a formula that I've developed over the years, and it's a pretty simple one. You'll find it online anywhere. I go through the basic questions. So why? And it's not to say why are you fat or overweight. It's like, so why? Why do you choose the food that you choose?
Mm.
Why do you do things a certain way? So we explore the whole space of why. There is a little bit of like, why are you overweight? Because at some point you've got to talk about that whether it's considered the elephant in the room or not, you've got to actually talk about, so why are you overweight and what can we do about it? So then you move into areas like, so there's why, there's, we have a section on when, and that's quite a large topic because a lot of people have been sold on this idea that that to lose weight, you should eat 6 small meals a day. And it's like, no. Sorry, it's not. But a lot of people do believe that. So we look at why, when, where, as in your home environment versus your office environment. Because honestly, if you sit at a desk and 2 meters away is a beautiful vending machine with lots of chocolate bars and fizzy drinks, well, we're going to have to sort of talk about that and how you deal with that versus, you know, if you're used to sort of on the way to work, I get a coffee and a pie or a sausage roll, and, you know, we go down that track. So the idea is I cover 6 well-known areas of life: why, when, how, what, where, and how. And we go through those, and that's over 6 weeks. And we discuss everything there is to do with those issues, like, you know, how, you know, in terms of like, how do I fit this into my lifestyle is a good question, because, you know, it's easy to say, oh, you know, if you just follow this plan, it's all sorted. Not quite. Sometimes you have to sort of like think, well, okay, well, I'm over 45, so I've got some children. You might be separated and you get them on the weekend, and sort of how's that going to look for you? Or you don't have any children, or you play, you know, senior rugby on the weekend, or there's a whole lot of dynamics that fit into it. So we explore every part of your life and how the framework that I have developed around the type of food you should eat, when you should eat and when you shouldn't eat, and how to develop habits. Because the foundation of my program is built on what you should eat, when you should eat, and the right habits, and how you develop those, which are a lot easier than some people might assume. And there's some great literature out there, and I've also followed and put into practice. As I said, you know, I only preach and teach what I have practiced and what I've implemented in my life to improve the quality of my life. And then the final week, week 8, is all about a reflection and review. Along the way, one of the other mantras, or one of the other real key points for me, which I have followed for the last 20 years or more, actually 30 years I've followed, and I didn't discover it until later on. There's a business guru by the name of Peter Drucker, and you'll find him in all the literature. He's considered a management guru. He has a very simple quote: what gets measured gets managed. And the program is also built on that, is that we will measure a lot of things, and it's not about measuring your waistline or measuring necessarily what's on the scale. It's about measuring. Because for me, I think there's a lot of value in the 80-20 rule. 80% of a diet, or 80% of an eating plan, and I'm not putting people on a diet, Joy, it's an eating plan. 80% of that is all psychological.
Oh, definitely. I completely agree on that.
Every diet, I mean, all diets work, you know, whether you want to do Jenny Craig, whether you want to do Weight Watchers, whether you want to do the Dukin diet, South Beach, paleo, keto, anything you want to do, they'll all work. But it's your psychological aspect, and your reason why, and your reason for sticking at it. And if they're not built in and fairly solid, often, you don't stick to them. There is an element which
Yep.
is why I developed my course, and I've developed it to be as easy as possible and as easy to follow and easy to stick to, because that's one of the key learnings from science. People give up on diets because they become too hard to follow. And when they become too hard to follow, as human beings, we tend to abandon them. And the science states, based on research, most people will stick at a diet for about 6 months, and then they will give up or abandon it. And within 12 months of starting, they'll put the weight back on, and often extra. So if they weighed 80 kilos when they started the diet and they got down to say 70, they often end up about 85 kilos. They will actually put the weight back on plus a little. And that's been proven time and time again at research, at university level research. So yeah, and that's why I've developed my program to be as easy to follow and easy to stick to. And you get to have treats. And Joy can attest to, I have a very bad sweet tooth, and I have a very bad savoury tooth as well, as they like to say. I drove 3 hours to get a pie.
That's just crazy. I still can't believe you did that. Like, how desperate are you for a good pie?
So people who follow my program will get to have the things they absolutely cannot live without.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the timing and it's about the management of that.
Exactly.
That actually makes a success, because I have still enjoyed a pie and a pizza. Like I had pizza yesterday at a beautiful cafe, Fresca, in Rangiora.
Oh, yes, was it nice?
Beautiful cafe, a little Italian cafe we have here in Canterbury, in Rangiora. And my wife and I, we had pizza. We had pizza for lunch yesterday, with a mochaccino. And yeah, so you still get to enjoy all those wonderful things.
Yes.
As I say, my program is easy to follow and easy to stick to. Yeah, and you get results. So.
Nice. I'm going to go and check out that cafe, because I've actually heard about it. I'm about a 25-minute drive from that, so it's not too bad.
The young man who works there makes amazing mochachinos. So yeah.
I think I need to visit it. I need a cheat day. Owen, it has been fabulous talking to you. I really appreciate your time. I'm very excited for this. You're going to help a lot of people. And like I can just see this booming, because it's very clever the way you're putting it together. I myself, I've had this weight loss journey for the last year, and I can talk firsthand that diets do not work. If people force you to go on a certain eating plan, half the stuff does not work for your family, or it does not work for you. You fail, literally give up after a few weeks, because I have been there. I've done it, because I can't cook everything that I might eat all of it, but my family doesn't. So I ended up making 3 different meals. So that's really hard to do as a family. So it's wonderful that for that. That's really, really fantastic. I appreciate your time, and we will definitely drop links to Owen so you can have a chat with him. And his target market is men 45 years and older. Yep. And I would definitely recommend, if you guys are in the space, that please get in touch with him. He can definitely help you. I know you can, because he's given me pointers that has helped for me. So, and that's just a few tips, and it's definitely been working. So thank you, Owen. You are
welcome. Thank you, Joy.
My health coach, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And so I appreciate that.
I would talk to people like, oh yeah, I can see a lot of. I'm like, yeah, my health coach said this and this and this. You're my health coach.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Owen, so much for your time, and we will catch up again soon.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, Joy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.